Deshaun Watson was thrilled. He was so excited to speak with media members for the first time in 4 months earlier today. If you missed it, here's the best of what Deshaun had to say. There were some football questions asked. There were a lot of non-football questions asked, to which Deshaun Watson basically tried to say nothing at all. We'll start with what he said about his first game back being here in Houston. Deshaun was asked, what does it mean to you that your first game off suspension is against your old team?
I respect the whole organization of the Houston Texans. I respect them and their family. I respect everyone that was there that drafted me in 2017. There's been great memories, fun memories.
Okay, some great memories, fun memories. Everything went well with Deshaun in Houston, obviously. Nothing bad ever happened here.
Quite the change of tune when he really forced his way out of this organization.
Yeah, give me a break. I mean, Deshaun Watson and the rest of the world have very different definitions of love and respect. Come on now, respect for the McNair family in the city of Houston. Dude, you signed an extension, told everybody you loved this place and that you wanted to be here forever, and then less than a year later you asked out. That's not respect. That's giving an entire city and an entire franchise and an entire fan base the middle finger. Since when does that constitute as respect? Come on, man. What's he trying to accomplish here?
Deshaun Watson has also never gone on record as to why he wanted out of the Houston Texans organization. It's all been hearsay, rumors, and assumptions. And the only person that for sure knows exactly why Deshaun Watson wants out is Deshaun Watson, and he's never gone on record. And I think that's bullcrap. And I understand that that's primarily an issue for me and for Texans fans and for us who want to know exactly what went down. But that's an important piece of information that has been withheld by Deshaun Watson throughout the whole course of this thing. And it doesn't involve you getting sued by women who think you were a pervert and a sexual deviant. Okay, it doesn't involve the legal process, so you can talk about that, Deshaun.
Yeah.
But to have those words come out of his mouth when he's never explained why the hell he wanted nothing to do with this organization is so disingenuous and phony, just like everything that occurred for Deshaun Watson in his final year with this organization.
That'd be pretty respectful, I think, to tell people why you wanted out of here.
You care about the fans? How about you tell them why you're not the quarterback anymore, you phony?
Oh, by the way, you care about the fans? Dude, you had 9 months to say anything to Texans fans, right? Like, he could have taken out a page in the Chronic after the trade went down. He could have tweeted something or posted something on social media thanking the Texans and Texans fans. He hasn't thanked this city one time. Like, this is the closest thing to a thank you and a shout-out to the Texans organization and this fan base that he's given since the trade went down in March. Don't pee on us and tell us that it's raining, dude. You've had so many opportunities to give us some love and give us some credit and give us a shout-out, and now you're doing this? Like you said, Cody, it's incredibly phony and fake and disingenuous, just like this guy has been to a T over the last year plus.
Like, the rumor of the situation was that he was going to be involved in the general manager meetings. He was going to be involved in the process. He was going to meet with some of the general managers. That was the rumor, and that was the conversation that was happening at the time. And then Deshaun Watson went on a week-plus long vacation to Cabo as soon as the season was over, when the Texans were looking for a new general manager and a new head coach. Yeah. And so then they hired a general manager who he never spoke to, and before the general manager even put his ink on the dotted line to say, I'm going to be the GM, Deshaun was like, yeah, screw this, I'm out. And he's never explained what exactly went down and why. If Cal McNair sat there and disrespected you, come out and say, well, the owner did this, the owner said this. Don't do it through the back channels and the BS and the Schefters and the Rappaports and the Pelisseros, and then come out here 700 days after you last played for this organization and be like, oh, no, I respect them and the McNairs and all that stuff. That's bullcrap. That's bullcrap. And you care about the fans, you'd say something. But you don't, because you're just saying whatever you need to say to make sure that you can go take a snap on Sunday.
Well, that was the biggest thing he tried to do today. He was politicking up there. He didn't want to say anything that could be turned into a bigger headline than him speaking for the first time in 4 months was going to create.
Yeah.
So he tried to take the high road or not answer non-football-related questions. It was all about trying to get through this without creating any additional headlines that this was always going to create headlines with anyway.
He was a politician, and we talk about politicians being disingenuous all the time, and that's what Deshaun Watson was today. And I'm sure a lot of what he said was put together by a PR team trying to make sure he didn't screw anything up or say anything that would get him in trouble earlier today. It was just, it's so fake, and it just follows a pattern for this dude.
Here's more from Deshaun. He was asked what he thinks about the suite full of accusers who will be at the game on Sunday.
Like I said, I'm focusing on just being the starting quarterback and executing the game plan. That's my main focus. I'm not, worried about the atmosphere. I got to go in and make sure I execute the game plan.
So you could sense a pattern now, right? He's asked a non-football question. He gives you that answer about the game plan. Here was Deshaun Watson being asked about the required treatment that he had to agree to come off this suspension.
Sean, part of your agreement with the league was to undergo counseling and therapy while you were away. What did you learn about yourself during that time, and how do you apply that to now and going forward?
I respect your question, I understand, but that's more in that phase of clinical and legal stuff, and I've been advised to, stay away from that and keep that personal.
And that's basically what you got for most of this press conference, similar type of answers.
He was asked another question. I can't remember the exact context of it. It was why do you believe, or what do you say to people who believe you shouldn't be the face of the Cleveland Browns? He's like, well, I'm here to talk about football. I'm worried about executing the game plan on Sunday. So that was kind of his go-to, sticking around with that. But as soon as they wanted to talk about, how's your accuracy coming off the layoff, he was all like, oh yeah, no, we're throwing the ball good.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
Nope.
Figured that was how this press conference was going to go, and still pissed me off, but it went the way I think most people expected it to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was anything you really could have said that would, other than like coming out there and being like, I'm a bad person. I need to learn from everything I
Or if he
did
just
wrong.
fessed up to everything today.
Like if he just fell on the sword completely, it was
God.
probably the only scenario where people would have had maybe some sort of sympathy for the guy. Or if we came out there and he admitted, hey, like I have a real problem. I apologize to these women. But it was never going to happen because he still thinks he did nothing wrong in his mind.
He was more than likely to say why he requested a trade from the Texans than to say any of that stuff that you just said, Jake. So we're never going to hear. Maybe after Deshaun Watson's football career is over, maybe at some point down the road we'll get some answers to some of these questions, but they ain't going to happen anytime soon. People will be asking Deshaun about it forever. And in the postgame on Sunday, it'll be Texans media who will get the opportunity to talk with Deshaun if they want to. I'm sure people will ask some sort of question to try to get something out of Deshaun Watson, and it's going to be the cookie-cutter BS that we got today.
I don't even know if the Texans media will get a chance.
You might be right.
The Brown PR people could simply just not call on Cody Stutes or other reporters that go to that media availability.
What PR people?
Browns PR people?
Browns PR people.
What did I say?
I didn't hear the S in there. I was like, whoa. I don't know why you're bringing that into
There
this.
definitely was an S in there.
Okay, all right. We'll check the tape. Probably don't need to check the tape on that one.
Yeah, that'll be fascinating to see exactly his mood in the postgame, especially if by some chance, some miracle, the Texans are able to defeat him.
Oh, my God. And he looked awful in the preseason. Like, what if he looks that bad in the regular season after the Browns gave up all that they gave up to get him?
And the hapless, hopeless Houston Texans defeat Deshaun Watson.
Oh.
He's going to be.
Feed it to me.
You want to talk about the football game? Let's talk about the football game then, Deshaun. Let's talk about how the Texans, the organization you didn't want to play for, came in here and beat you.
The worst team in the NFL beat you.
That'll be a fascinating conversation of let's just talk about the football.
Actually, I'd like to talk about the accusers now, please.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about the legal situation. I'd like to not talk about football. I'm here to talk about the off-the-field stuff only.
Let's squeeze in a call before we go around the league next segment. Let's go to Michael in Southwest Houston. Michael, you're up next on the Wheelhouse.
Hey, guys, I love the show, but I have two questions for you. First one is, if Deshaun Watson gave us some valid excuse, would it change the opinion of him as to why he left the Texans? Because, like James Harden, I really don't care why he left. It's just that he wanted to leave. And my second question is, would y'all have more enjoyment watching Deshaun Watson fail, kind of like Russell Wilson, or just Russell Wilson? And I'll hang up and listen.
I think understanding exactly what led to Deshaun Watson leaving is about making sure this organization does not make that mistake ever again. Is to make sure that when you're on the precipice of drafting another franchise quarterback, to make sure that you're not 3 years or 4 years into a contract with that guy and he's walking up and asking for the same thing, and understanding better how the management and ownership of this franchise ran that situation and how it ended up in that situation. I think that's why I want the answer from Deshaun Watson. And then I will not be rooting for Deshaun Watson's professional success ever. Draft picks conveyed in the past, I will always root against that guy.
I'll be rooting against his personal success, too.
Yep.
Not just professional. I'm with you there. Like, Russell Wilson dunking on him's been fun, but I'll root against Deshaun Watson way more than Russell Wilson till the end of time.
I think the way you put it is a great mark of delineation. I don't want Bill O'Brien to ever be successful as a football coach ever again. I don't want him to ever have any football success ever again. Bill O'Brien, the person, go about live your life. I wish nothing ill on Bill O'Brien, the person. I can't say the same about Deshaun Watson.